the reality in virtual reality, those split-second decisions, the sheer raw ability. Don't let the simulation detract from the racing. This is racing. This is TCSRL. Hello and welcome to TCSRL. We are back. It's been 3 weeks since our last race. We've had 2 weeks off, and that's mostly my fault due to having a life and going off and doing other things. So we decided to take, do the opening race, take a little bit of a break, and we're back now for a good few weeks with week-to-week action. And what action we have. We are, as always, in the World Touring Car Championship cars from 2017 up to 2021. The 2022 cars have been released, but they were after we started our championship, so they are not available yet to be used in this championship. But we are here this week at Watkins, Glen in America. So as those that have watched before will know, very rarely do we repeat tracks season upon season. So this season we've got pretty much all new tracks, I think, apart from Brands Hatch next week. But anyway, it keeps it exciting for us because we've always got new tracks to go to, and keeps the drivers on their toes as well. We've got 11 in the lobby so far, only 9 have set a time, and ballast is kicked in now as we've had our full first round. So the likes of Temenga, George User, Aaron Markham are suffering with a bit of ballast this week, slightly different ballast this season. Compared to how we've run it in the past. So let's take a look at the calendar just to confirm. There we are this week at Watkins Glen. Next week we go to Brands Hatch, then we got Monza. So we've got plenty of cool circuits yet to come, but we are this week at Watkins Glen, and that is our table. So Temenga is top with 45 points ahead of George User, who is on 43, Aaron Markham on 40, Michael Clough 38, Beckett in 5th place on 31, and Ashbourne in 6th place on 30. You've got 3 drivers then on 28, Zoke, Flack and Butcher. Stu Neal in 10th place at the moment on 24 points. Papdim on 20. Had a reasonable debut, but a couple of tricky parts of the race for him last time out. Kane Alexander on 16, Aaron Lage on 11, and Luke Dugdale on 8. And then you've got Chris Pizuk, Bausho, Bent and Wellbeloved, who have not yet completed a race. So hopefully some of those newer guys will get in and join us this evening. But just to make you aware then, ballast for first place once again this season is 100 kilograms, second place 92, third place 80, and then we've got Clough on 60, Beckett on 45 and Ashbourne on 30. So there's less ballast spread over the whole field, so that should hopefully bring the field even closer together and give other drivers a chance. But there's also a bigger differential between the ballast of one place to another, meaning it's not as much of a punishment, and there's more chance of even those drivers battling each other a little bit closer. That's the thought behind it. That's what we're hoping will happen. Time will tell. But that is where we stand. So, yeah, here we go then. Watkins Glen, really looking forward to this. There's still 13 minutes left of this practice session. So, plenty of time. And at the moment, we've got Stu Neal top of the table, or top of the timing screen, I should say, ahead of Russ Butcher, Aaron Large in third, and Kane Alexander in fourth. So evidence there that the ballast is doing what it should do around here, leveling the field out a bit. And of course it's based on the championship position, so that ballast will be carried for all three of the races that we've got for you this evening, and then the tables will adjust and change, and then next week's ballast will be based on those championship positions. So it's a question of, do the drivers use the ballast to and do their best, you know, to really finish as high as possible, but deal with more, you know, quite a high ballast again next week. Do they, you know, have a bit of a stinker and have less ballast next week? But then, you know, at some point when you're fighting for the championship and you're at the top, you're always going to be carrying that large amount of ballast, and there does tend to be a differential in skill level as well between the top 5-6 drivers and the bottom 5-6 drivers. So yeah, time will tell. We'll see what people do, but we should have 18 people signed up to the championship, but as I say, at the moment, unfortunately, we don't seem to have them all, but hopefully that will change as practice comes to an end and qualifying starts. So we will see what happens there. I'm just going to pop myself into, so I'm just checking one of my screens for a moment, just popping myself into the live streams com channel, just so people can see me if they need me. And hopefully we'll pick up some drivers between races and quali and everything else as usual. So let's just take a quick run through the field and see where we stand. So Stu Neal's in the pits at the moment. He's currently top of the timing charts with a 1:15.7, which is a pretty good time around here. We're doing the short version with the chicane in. So Russ Butcher is second. He's a 10.5 further back from Stu Neal. Aaron Large is currently in third. So he didn't have the best of opening weekends, but he's showing really good pace in practice so far, and I'm sure he'll be hoping for a much better showing today. Poddy Flack has popped himself up into fourth. He'll be hoping, he's ballast free this week, so he'll be hoping for a good week as well, with most of his rivals from the opening round that he was battling away with have all got ballast, so he'll be hoping to have a good one. George, who's got 92 kilograms of ballast, currently in the pit, but he is in fifth. Temenga is in sixth. He's got the maximum 100 kilograms of ballast, so this will bring him back towards the pack. Simon Ashbourne, who's got just the 30 kilograms of ballast today, he finds himself currently down in seventh. Luke Dugdale is currently in eighth. He is in the pits. Aaron Markham out on the track. He is third in the Drivers' Championship at the moment, and he and his teammate are first in the Teams Championship. His teammate hasn't come in yet, Beckett. And Shoke, currently in the pits, has yet to set a time. So Stu Neal back out on track, looking to just perfect a few corners in his driving style. Currently the fastest man on track, so can he convert that into a pole when we have qualifying in just over 9 minutes time? That is the big question that needs answering. So we're live on YouTube for the first time, so welcome, and please pop information and questions into the chat should you wish to do so. We've usually streamed on Twitch, but obviously Twitch deletes the videos after a few weeks, so we've decided to make the switch over to YouTube. So, and hopefully the followers of our previous illustrious commentator, Mr. Andrew Pauly, will make their way over and start following this stream as well. And yes, it should hopefully be a very, very good meet. So I'm not in a race seat this season. Have been previously, and I would love dearly to be out on the grid, but I've taken the proverbial one for the team this season to allow us to have a stream and have comms. So here I am doing my thing. So that is that. Yeah, would much rather be out there battling away with the guys. No doubt I'd be mid-table towards the back, but still, I do miss driving these touring cars. But my time will come again in the future, I'm sure. So just to make you aware, tomorrow again I'll be live covering the GT3s on ACC for Final Drive Sim Racing on YouTube from 7:30, and I'll be joined by two of the drivers you got out there today in the comments box as always on Thursdays. Aaron Markham and Luke Dugdale will be with me as we call all the action for Final Drive Sim Racing and the GT3 League. It's been a great championship so far, really close racing in that GT3 League, so definitely worth tuning in to what should be a pretty special event, as it usually is. Sprint races tomorrow for them, so very similar to the format that we run, but over 2 races, whereas we'll be seeing 3 races this evening as usual. Practice about to come to an end, then we've got our 10-minute qualifying session. We've got 3 15-minute races. Race 1 determined by the finishing position from qualifying. Race 2 determined by the finishing positions from race 1. And race 3 is a reverse grid of race 1. So that is the race where these high ballast guys who will be starting middle to back in this first race will be able to make some of their money back and win a bit back in that third race. But it all depends. Like I say, tactics could come into play. They could decide to drive slower and you know, take the opportunity to drop some ballast for next time. That, you know, that is a tactic that they can play if they want. It's not what we want to see. It's not in the spirit of the league, but there's nothing to stop them doing it should they wish to do so. But our preference is just good, hard, fast racing as much as possible. But you know, if they want to sacrifice some positions this week to gain a ballast advantage for next week, then so be it. It's their championship. They're the ones that are going to go out there and do it the best way that they see fit. So time will tell. So we've got just over 5 minutes left. I'm just going to find a driver who's out on track about to start a lap. Have we got anybody coming up to start a lap? Aaron Markham's just coming out of the pits, so we'll watch him on a lap. As he goes around Watkins Glen. So he's just coming up through what is turns 2 and 3. The first corner obviously is on the pits exit, so turns 2 and 3 are what I call the anti-Eau Rouge. It's the opposite to Eau Rouge in Belgium, is in the opposite way, but very similar. And then you're hard on the brakes then, down through the gears for this chicane, carrying as much speed as you can through there, and then you've got a long sweeping right-hander, bit of a double apex job, and through then the other side. It's a short version of the track, so rather than darting off left, the drivers continue right, and then you've got a hard left-hander, hard on the brakes, and it's so easy to carry too much speed there and end up going out wide, and then another right-hander down to the start finish straight. So yeah, lap times are looking at 1:15s, so of course a 15-minute race. We're going to be looking at probably 12 laps or so. 11, 12, 13 laps, depending on sort of when they cross the line, because of course when they cross the line they can complete the lap that they are on, even if there's 1 second left when they cross the line. But So yeah, Aaron currently down in 9th place. He has got a fair amount of ballast on board, 80 kilograms. So he's not exactly light, and that is showing. For drivers like him, George, Temenga, they are struggling a little bit with the ballast today. Still hoping to get a few more drivers in. Still only at 11 at the moment, but Shizuoka and Alexander have not yet set a lap time, which is why they are not showing up on your board that you can see on screen. But hopefully they will get out at some point, and also hopefully we will get some more drivers joining before the end of quali, and get a nice big grid. Aaron's done with his lap. Kane Alexander just making his way out. This is not Aaron Markham like it says on the screen there. There we go, Kane Alexander. And he's in the Lincoln Co, so that's another Lincoln Co for me to keep an eye on. So we are missing someone tonight. Yeah, Cluffy was in a Lincoln Co as well, wasn't he? I think we had 4 last time. There's only 3 out there at the moment. So yeah, there's still a few drivers hopefully to come in for this second round of the championship. But as it stands, we've got 11, and Kane making his debut with us this season, so really looking forward to seeing what he has to offer. We've got a strong amount of strong lineup of drivers out there. There's lots of talent on show, and hopefully we can get some somebody's wheel spinning somewhere. Yeah, that'll be Luke Dugdale there in the number 52. Gordon Shedden, Audi. Yes, there's plenty of talent out there, so hopefully we'll get some good racing, despite the fact it is a smaller field. So Kane just starting his first timed lap as he looks to get the grips with it. He's left it late. Not long left in practice now. Quali starting in just a minute's time, but he should just have enough time to finish this lap. And let's see what he has. What has he got in the tank? So his first sector, he's 2.5 tenths down. His personal best. Oh, we got the back end really sliding there, throwing it in through the corners. He's very tight through there, which means he's giving himself a harder line. You should really run a little bit wider and give yourself more of a smooth line through that long right-hander. It's a tricky so-and-so. And then down to the slower left, hard on the brakes, down to 3rd gear, throw the car through it. Yeah, he's not used all the track there. He's definitely can carry more speed through there. He's currently 7 tenths down as he comes towards the line, so looking to be sort of 6th position. By my rough maths, we will see as he crosses the line. And he does put himself into 6th position, just under 1 second off the lead, and that is the end of practice. So we're just waiting for quali to start. Michael Clough saying a few missing tonight. He wish he was here for this track. We wish you were here as well, Mr. Clough, and hopefully we'll see you next week. But yeah, there are quite a few missing tonight, unfortunately. Not sure as to why, but it is what it is. So some cars getting ready to do their lap. So let's take a look at Aaron Markham as he goes out. He's one of the guys with one of the highest ballasts. He's got 80 kilograms on board, so this will give us a good benchmark for how the ballast runners are going to fare in this qualifying session and in the race as well. So here he comes down through the first corner through the right-hander. You've got to try and carry as much speed as you can, because then you've got the anti-Eau Rouge, and you've got to need all the speed you can carried up this hill. And it's right and then left, as opposed to Eau Rouge, and then you are powering down then through the main straight towards the chicane. You're hard on the brakes at the 300 board, down to 3rd gear, carry as much speed as you can, And then you want to take a wide line and kiss double apex through your Aaron, currently shown as purple in sector 1. But I'm not sure if other drivers will have beaten that in the meantime. But we'll just stick with Aaron for this lap before we see how some of the other guys are getting on. Hard on the brakes then for the left-hander. And he's carried that just the right amount of speed. Again, he's shown as purple, but I'm not sure if he would have had that invalidated for going over track limits here. I think he looks like he's okay. Does it count? It didn't count because he did exceed track limit. So at the moment it's Shizuoka who is top with a 15.5, Stu Neal with a 16.3. Butcher's very close to going into pole position there, only half a tenth away from Shizuoka's time, but it looks like Shizuoka had a bit of a disaster at Interlagos in round 1, where he's normally one of the front runners and challenged for the championship last season. He's in the same car as well, but he just didn't seem to be on form around Interlagos, but he certainly looks to have found that bit of form now as he puts himself on provisional pole. And Butcher very, very close to him as well. Simon Ashbourne, who's carrying the lowest level of ballast today, currently in 5th position. A couple of people yet to set a lap. How is George faring? So he's 4/10 down through sector 1. Temenga 1.2 seconds off the lead. He's got the most ballast with 100 kilograms of ballast. So it clearly is affecting the drivers, but that's what we want. We don't want the same people winning week in, week out. We want to make it as even as possible, and that is exactly what the ballast is designed to do. And also the reverse grid race that we will have for race 3. So George crosses the line, and he is only 3/10 off the lead, although he's shown as 5/10 on the main timing screen, but it said 3/10 on the sector, so a little strange, but only half a second off with 92 kilograms on board. So that shows what a good job George User is doing there, because that is not a bad time at all. Stu Neal has taken top spot though with a 1:15.4. So he goes up into top position. Aaron Markham still yet to set a time. The only driver on the grid who hasn't yet set a time, as he has invalidated all of his laps so far. Luke Dugdale currently in 10th position. He's 1.8 seconds off the lead at the moment. So he'll be hoping for much better. He did set a better time last time out, but he needs to get down into the 16s really, because that's where most of these guys are, and then you've got the top few who are down in the 15s. So Temenga now 1.3 seconds off the lead, but he's just set a much better lap time, got himself up to 6th position and 7/10 off. So just ahead of him at the moment is Body Flack in the Lincoln Co. Michael Clough, sorry, just in the chat there, just saying he hopes very much to be back in 2 weeks' time, but as he's rightly saying, he'll be light and pretty much ballast free for the remaining races of the season, but he'll have some catching up to do against these guys who will have had a lot of points in the meantime. But of course you do get a dropped round as well, so your worst round can be dropped. We've lost a driver. I think that is Alexander we've lost. Yeah, Alexander's gone, so we're just down to 10 now, which is a shame. So we've got, what is there, 4.5 minutes of qualifying left. So Stu Neal is still first, but with an even quicker time now of a 15.2. Butcher with a 15.3, just a 10th back. Has he got what it takes to take pole? Has Shizuoka got what it takes to take pole? I think it's between these 3 guys now, as all the other guys behind are either a little bit off the pace or have huge amounts of ballast, which are going to prevent them from making any more progress than that. But Butcher then looking to improve. He needs just a 10th and a half basically to get himself up onto pole position for race 1. Stu Neal back out on track as well. He thinks he can improve on his best time. His best time is a 15.2 so far. Can he improve on that? That is a big question. Oh, Shizuoka has improved, but he's gone up into second, 3/1000ths of a second ahead of Butcher. And Butcher's abandoned his lap. He does have time to go back out though if he needs to. But Shizuoka so close to pole, but again just over a tenth away. He's having another go though. Can he do it? Can Stu Neal improve on his time? They have got just over 3 minutes to do it. Oh, Shizuoka getting way out of shape there through the chicane, but he might not have lost too much time. He has set a personal best through the first sector. Let's see what his sector 2 time is like as he comes up to the line. So again, it's showing as a personal best, so it looks like he's fastest in this last sector. Has he got enough in the tank just to get himself up onto that top step? 2 personal bests so far. He's just a tenth away from pole. Has he got enough? He sets a fastest sector 3, but overall his time was still down on Stu Neal. Stu Neal is back out there trying to improve on his 15.236. As I say, currently on provisional pole. Kane Alexander has made it back into the lobby, so that is good news. Nice to see Adam Foster in the chat there. Cheers for joining and watching, Adam. Adam, one of the drivers and defending champion in the FDSR Championship I advertised to you not that long ago. So minute 45 left, so anybody starting a lap before that point will have time to finish it, and as long as they've got more than 1 minute 15 left, they should get time to finish it. A couple of positions changing there. Poddy Flack has managed to get himself up into 4th with an improved lap time, less than half a second off the front guys now, so he's doing a stellar job. Butcher is looks like he's called it a day, so it's between Shizuoka and Stu Neal who can get themselves onto that pole position. It looks like it's Stu Neal's to lose, but Shizuoka is not giving this up as he crosses the line for his final attempt. I don't know if he's going to have enough time to finish this lap, because unlike some other championships, if you if the clock runs down before you finish your lap, it does cut the session short, so it doesn't always let you finish. So he's going to be borderline as to whether he's got enough time to finish his lap, and if he goes purple and then doesn't finish the lap, I assume he'll be fuming. Stu Neal back in the pits. He is done. He is done with the session, so it's all about Shizuoka. He goes purple in sector 1. Purple in sector 1. Has he got it? He's throwing it through. The game has called time on the session. It's unclear as to whether Shizuoka will be able to finish this lap or not. The game seems to think that these are the final qualifying results, as you can see on your screen. He's just coming down towards the last corner. Is it going to let him finish this lap? He was purple through sector 1. I can't see any further time from him. Oh, and he's binned it into the final corner, so it wouldn't have counted anyway, but a full commitment from Shizuoka as he tried to beat that time of Stu Neal. But it is the first pole position of the season for Stu Neal in the Lincoln Co. Absolutely fantastic, and well done, Stu Neal. Great showing from him there, and we just got a minute now to digest all that and get ready for the session. And just digesting that. Sorry, just trying to think about. Yeah, he was purple, and Michael Clough in the chat there just saying gutted. I mean, it looked like that could have been the lap that done it, but unfortunately it was not meant to be. So here we go. We're getting ready for race 1 of round 2. drivers all just readying up now and getting ready for that green light. When is it going to come? Any second now, and there we go, we've got a green light, and it's flat to the floor, and away we go down towards the first corner. Stu Neal versus Shizuoka down to the first corner. Shizuoka with the inside line, but he didn't have the best start, but he will be able to be later on the brakes. Oh, somehow they don't make contact. Fantastic close net drive in between them. Russ Butcher taking a look up the inside of Shizuoka, gives him a little bit of a love tap, door to door, and pushes him a little wide, and then goes up into second position. And yeah, he gave him a little tap. I'm not saying it was intentional, but there was definitely a tap there. But Stu Neal holding onto the lead now, and he's got a little bit of a gap as Russ Butcher and Shizuoka were battling away behind him. Podifak still in fourth. Kaelin Alexander, who did manage to get a qualifying time in fifth, and George Temenga then in sixth and seventh. Aaron Large in eighth. Doug Dale in ninth. Markham in 10th, and Simon Ashbourne with a disastrous start. Down in 11th position. But Shizuoka having a bit of a battle now with Podifak in the background as they battle for the lead, and then Podifak battling for third position, and he gets ahead of Shizuoka, but Shizuoka tries to go back up the inside. Podifak hangs it around the outside, says thank you very much, and up he goes into third position and into the final podium position. But this is only lap one, and we've still got at least another 10 laps to go, so plenty of time for this to change yet. But Butcher looking to take the lead, and he does. Gets a much better exit out of that final corner, down the straight, plenty of acceleration, and Butcher gets himself up into first position ahead of Stu Neal in the Lincoln Co. Great racing there, and now Stu will be following him down this straight, hoping to pick up a bit of a slipstream and get past. Neither of these guys carrying any ballast, so it's just man against man, driver against driver. And here he goes, he's just taking a look. Is he going to be late enough on the brakes to take a look up the inside of the chicane? No, he's not. Butcher just steps back, and Neal steps back and lets Butcher go, and thinks better of it on this occasion. George having a bit of an incident there. He's just gone off the track, and he's dropped back down now, and Aaron Markham gets himself up into 9th. Doug Dale currently in 8th, faring better in race trim than he was in qualifying. But Butcher still leading ahead of Stu Neal, who's ahead of Podifak, and then Shizuoka in 4th. Shizuoka almost on pole, and they're battling for the lead, and all of a sudden now down in 4th position. And looks like he might have a bit of damage, I think, because he's now under pressure from Kane. Is it Kane Alexander? No, it's Aaron Large, sorry. Kane Alexander already ahead of Shizuoka. Is it? No. There's Kane. There's Shizuoka. Shizuoka's battling with Poddy. Sorry, I was getting confused. There's too many Lincoln codes on this track. They all look the same, and it's impossible to tell which one's any different. Sorry, apologies. So Butcher still battling away then with Stu Neal for the lead. As I said, both ballast free, both free to battle without having to worry about tyre wear or anything else. But here they go, same as the last lap, but Butcher defending really well. That Audi is a car that can defend well. I've battled against that Audi, both in the hands of Butcher and Ashbourne in the past, and it's not an easy car to fight against. Aaron Large is retired by the looks of it, according to my screen, which is a shame. So 10 cars remaining as it stands. So Butcher from Neal, from Shizuoka, from Podifak, from Kane Alexander, all within a second of each other and following through. And then you've got a bit of a gap then back to 6th place to Luke Dugdale, who's followed by Temenga, George, user Aaron Markham, and then out in the back on his own at the moment is Simon Ashbourne after that first lap incident. But Butcher and Neal still going at it. It's still insanely close between these two. Oh, but he looks so much closer this time. I think he could be in a position to make a move into the chicane, which is coming up. He just takes a look up the inside. Is he going to be brave enough on the brakes, or does he think better of it? He thinks better of it. He backs out of it. But that looks like that is going to be his best opportunity to make an overtake stick, is through that corner. But it doesn't look like he can make it work as it stands. He needs to try something different, Stu Neal, because he looks like he is quicker than Butcher, as it, based on what we can see in front of us. But these guys setting mid 1:15 lap times at the moment. So yeah, they're pretty much doing quali laps, lap in, lap out, which is insanely good pace from these guys. But these guys battling is just keeping Shizuoka and Podiflak interested. Shizuoka has got himself back up into third. Sorry, I missed that on the stream, and we don't have a replay option, unfortunately. But he has got himself back up. But Stu Neal then, you can see the live battle there, and it's pretty much around a tenth or under a tenth all the way through, and he's much faster than Butcher through this section, and you can see he's squirming around all across the back of him looking for a way past, and Butcher just holding station, keeping his line, placing the car exactly where it needs to be. But look at Shizuoka now in the background getting really close as well. He's going to make a move up for second position. Oh, he just backs out of it in time, but oh, that was super close, super close there, and excellent precision driving from the three of them to keep it that close and not have any accidents. But this is absolutely miles off. Aaron Large in the chat just saying he cocked that move up. I didn't see it, Aaron, sorry, but cheers for checking in and letting us know. So we are still Butcher from Neal from Shizuoka once again. I mean, this is where Neal needs to be proper close to Butcher, but Butcher just pulls a gap coming out of the last corner, which is where he was faster than him to make the overtake in the first place to get up into first. And unfortunately, that's where Stu Neal can't live with him. It's this section then where Stu Neal is faster, but they're just cancelling each other out at the moment. But this now, you can see Shizuoka is getting into the rhythm, getting into a groove, and just bringing himself into play. And these guys have dropped Podiflak now. Podiflak sitting in fourth position as it stands. And once again, these guys getting proper close through the chicane. Look, Shizuoka absolutely throwing the car through the chicane, throwing it on the curbs. He's got to watch his suspension and watch it. Oh, he just clipped the curb there, Stu Neal. He clipped the inside curb, and that has slowed him right down, and that'll give Shizuoka a little look up the inside. But Neal will have the inside for the left-hander, and then Shizuoka will have the inside for the right-hander if they can stay side by side. He just gives him a little nudge there. Can he stick with him? He has to drop in, but he might just get a better drive now out of the last corner and down the start finish straight. But that has given Butcher plenty of breathing space now. He's got just over half a second breathing space now, as Neal just made that little bit of a mistake. And there you go, Shizuoka down the inside into turn one, and that mistake from Neal not only has cost him battling for the lead now, it's now cost him second position, and he drops back behind Shizuoka, and Shizuoka gets himself up into second. But Stu Neal not done with this yet, but once again we'll see, has he got enough speed to make the overtake stick. Michael Clough saying in the chat there, Neal was miles too close there to get a solid overspeed from the low speed corner, and that is the thing. It's you've got to be close in the right places of the track, and there's no good following really close in places you can't overtake. You need to get that speed advantage in the right areas of the circuit, and that is where Stu Neal appears to be struggling to find that balance at the moment between sticking with him and getting an advantage where he is faster. But Butcher has survived the attack, and he finds himself still out in first place. Shizuoka now in second, and Stu Neal down to third. I wonder if he might have picked up a little bit of damage from that little kiss with the curb, but time will tell. It looks like he can stick with them at the moment. Podiflak then still in fourth, doing a solid job there, but can't quite live with the pace of these guys at the moment, but time will tell if he can change that in the remaining time. We've got just over a third of this race still left to run, and we've already had 8 laps, so it looks like we will get about 12 laps, maybe 13. Kane Alexander then is in 5th, doing a fantastic job. Yeah, sort of dipped out in qualifying, disappeared, and then came back in, so qualified quite well in midfield, but he's done well. And there's a big gap then back to the rest of them. So you've got Temenga, you've got Doug Dale, you've got George User, who's there in 8th, Aaron Markham in 9th, and these are the guys, and Simon Ashbourne there in 10th, with Aaron Large retired to the pits. But these are the guys now who are all carrying ballast, and therefore not easy for them trying to keep up with those faster guys. But that is partly why there's such a big gap. These guys in the 18s, where there's the guys on the front, are doing 15s and 16 flats, so that is why there's such a difference. But Stu Neal once again putting pressure on the guy in front of him now, but this time it's Shizuoka. He's looking to get back up into second so we can once again challenge for the lead, but Shizuoka's got his own ambitions for that race win, so it's certainly not going to be as easy as that. Once again, we see he's able to follow, but he doesn't have enough of a speed advantage to make an overtake stick. But it's that last corner that's key. That is where you need to get the advantage. You can make the move down into turn 1. That is where we've seen the overtakes work and stick so far. All aggressive on the curbs there, really pushing the cars to the limit. But Stu Neal has dropped back a little bit now. Shizuoka looking to get a little bit closer to Butcher. This should, if he can get a good launch out of the last corner, that is where, as I just said, he will be able to make a move then down into turn 1. But these guys proper on the pace here, using all the racetrack back and forth. But Butcher doing a stellar job out in front, keeping his cool and just doing what he needs to do, consistently lapping in the 15s. Tyre wear will start to kick in now. The tyre wear is on ×2, so it wears twice as fast as what it would in real life. Again, another element when ballast is in play that affects the faster drivers and levels out the field. But these guys having a proper old ding dong here, but they just not able to make anything stick as it stands. But Shizuoka is as close as he's ever been, trying to go around the outside this time. Is he going to make the switch back down in towards the chicane? No, he just falls into line and follows him through. But all these drivers struggling to find the best place to make that overtake stick. As I've said, we've only seen it when they've had an advantage out of the last corner and then down into turn 1 so far. But there must be other places, especially down in that chicane, where you can make a move stick. If you can get your exit right out of Faux Rouge, as I call it. But here we go. Once again, like a boxing match, round 2. It looks like Aaron Markham is getting pretty close to trying to make an overtake on Luke Dugdale. So we just stepped away from that action at the moment. Dugdale battling away. He's in 8th, Aaron Markham in 9th. Markham 3rd in the championship. Oh, Dugdale very wide there. Very, very wide. And that is going to ping track limits. But Markham will have a much better exit out of the corner now. But Markham, remember, carrying 80 kilograms of ballast, but he is side by side now, going down into the first corner. Dugdale with the inside line though. Can he be later on the brakes? Markham will have a much better line through this corner, hangs it around the outside, just dips a little bit wide, but Dugdale battling up the inside now of Faux Rouge, and there we go. Aaron Markham just with the better line. All stemmed from that mistake from the final corner. Dugdale was offline through all those subsequent corners, and that gave Markham the advantage to go up into 8th position and kept the pressure on and got his position. And just notice, that Simon Ashbourne was 3.5 seconds behind these guys after the first lap after his incident, but he's now caught right up to the back of them. So he's doing a stellar job. Kane Alexander and Poddy Flack getting pretty close together as well in 4th and 5th. The lead is still the front 3 drivers separated by about half a second between all 3. And you can see, Shizuoka making a move for the lead there. I just saw it in the foreground, but he couldn't make it stick once again. Kane Alexander taking a look at Poddy Flack, and again he can't make it stick down into the first corner. We rejoin the battle for the lead now. Shizuoka super close up through the twisty right-left uphill, and he's making Butcher well aware of his presence. Butcher has had either Shizuoka or Neal right up his chuff pretty much from the time he took the lead on lap 2. So it is just a bit of curb jump in there for the guys, and the physics going a bit wild there. Looked like they were floating for the moment, but yeah, Butcher been under pressure pretty much for this entire race, but he's still lapping great, still one of the fastest guys out there, and these guys just cannot make an overtake stick, and you've got to give Butcher an immense amount of credit. Dugdale's retaking the lead, the position from Markham, and Ashbourne right on the back now as well, but these guys pretty much nose to tail for the lead. 3 cars all battling for the lead. They'll all get a podium if nothing changes, but we're coming down to the line, and that is it. Sorry, it's been so much action I completely missed it, but I'm showing that Shizuoka won that. The timing figures are showing that Shizuoka's taken that on the line and has won the race from Butcher, from Neil in 3rd. We'll wait for the official timings to come up. Poddy Flack in 4th, Alexander in 5th, Temenga in 6th, and he did! Shizuoka with the fastest lap of the race and takes victory on the line. Absolutely outstanding. That was just absolutely commentator's curse from me and from Michael Clough in the chat. Wow, what a finish. I'm sorry, we just went away from the action. I thought there was another lap, but there wasn't. But Shizuoka taking victory on the line from Butcher and Neil. Absolutely phenomenal finish. And yeah, Flack in 4th, Alexander 5th, Temenga 6th, Georgiusa in 7th, Dugdale in 8th, Markham 9th, Ashbourne 10th, and Aaron Large, a retiree, in 11th position. Wow, that was pretty special. Indeed. So I'm just going to set up the server for the next race, so just bear with me for just a moment while I do that. So I have to multitask in this job. I've got to be in 2 places at once. So what I need to do is update race results. There we go. Import from previous sessions. We got Watkins, Glen. There we go. Apply as new grid. Save that, and then turn. Oh, sorry, apologies. I need to turn off practice. Turn practice down to 7 minutes. Turn off qualifying, and reactivate the server, and then we can get everybody back on. Excellent. So that was absolutely brilliant. I see I'm joined by Aaron Markham in the comms box. Aaron, how did that go for you?
Hello. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine, my friend.
Brilliant. That was a very tricky race one, and a very tricky qualifying, and a very tricky practice session.
I can only assume the 80 kilograms of ballast is causing nothing short of a headache for you at this point.
Yeah, it's not great. It's just that first sector's just horrible, especially in the Honda. It doesn't quite have the grunt that the other guys have, so coupled that with an uphill section, if you like, the car feels like it's coughing. You know, I was battling with Luke there, and he was walking past me without even any slipstream. He was just straight past as soon as I got past in any of the corners. So suffering a lot, but tyre wear wasn't particularly awful. It seems more that fuel burn is quite a factor with the ballast. I'm burning through a lot more fuel,
right,
which means I start heavier, so I'm slower off the bat. It's just a knock-on effect, really. It's the butterfly effect of ballast, but I'm enjoying it. It's a challenge, and you know, it's there for a reason, and it's brought everyone else back into place, so it's working.
Look, yeah, you probably suffered a little bit, I guess, for having the race win last week, so early in the season, in that it's given you probably more ballast than you would expect to carry normally week in, week out. So it's kind of going to be one of those take it on the chin, but there's not much you wouldn't sacrifice for a win, really, is it? And you got that in week 1, so you know, that is it's just one of those horrid things that you have to put up with now, isn't it? It is a bit of ballast, but you're right in what you're saying in that it's bringing the field closer together. It's giving other people an opportunity this week, and it'll all change next week because the tables will change and therefore the ballast will change with it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you just can't accept that every week you're going to win, and you know, when you're carrying heavy ballast, you just got to accept that you won't be on the pace, or you won't be necessarily at the front, and you just take the points that you're given. It's damage limitation really for you to go again the following week. So that's just how I'm looking at it, and I've enjoyed battling with the guys. So I'm not a million miles away, and I'm still in some battles. So just looking at the positives.
Yeah, it looks like you had a decent battle with Dougie for a bit of that as well. So yeah, that was good to watch, and he got you, you got him. There was all sorts going on.
Yeah, it's good as well in the fact that it you know, it means that I'm battling with other people. It's a mixed bag. I mean, last week I was battling with guys at the front. This week it's more towards the rear end, and it means that everybody gets a chance of battling with everyone, and I think that's really important for the league as well.
It is very, very true. I'm just going to bring Russ in now. Russ, cheers for joining us in the comms box. I can't hear you. If you're talking, I can't hear you. Or if you didn't mean to join the comms box, you're in the wrong place. Nope. Okay, he's obviously not there. But yeah, so I'm reading that he's sort of run out of fuel apparently, but yeah, okay, it is what it is. Unfortunately, that is unfortunate, and it looks like it may have been fuel that led to him sort of running out of pace right at the end there, which is a huge shame. But there we go. It is what it is, and it isn't what it isn't. But all 11 drivers are back in now. Just a couple of minutes left. We give the drivers a 7-minute practice session, basically, just to get back into the lobby, have a toilet break or a drink break or whatever they need in between races. But my driver for race 1 then. Yeah, I kind of keep forgetting that I need to do this, so I'm going to do it this week. Driver of race 1 for me has got to be Russ. Didn't start first, took the lead, battled with 2 drivers pressuring him for the entire race, and alright, he lost it on the line, but what can I say? You know, other than that, it was a superb drive. So Russ gets my driver of race 1. So the next race now we have coming in just a minute and a half's time, or just over that, will be the finishing positions from that first race repeated as their start positions for this second race. So what that will give us is basically almost a repeat of the same, but some drivers finished, you know, slightly out of position, etc. So it'll still give us plenty of battles and such in the coming minutes. But yeah, and then of course race 3 is our reverse grid, so that'll be the reverse of what we've just seen. So Aaron Large, for example, who finished last in that race, will start in first position for the third race, being ballast free as well. That'll be a good advantage for him, whereas Shizuka will start last in that race, and he'll have some quick guys to try and battle past, and guys with ballast in the midfield. So it'll be really exciting, that third race. Looking forward to it, but not getting ahead of ourselves. We've still got fantastic race 2 to complete yet, and that is coming your way in just a few seconds time, so shouldn't be much longer and we will be ready to go. But just once again to confirm to you guys, once again, I'll be live tomorrow with Aaron Markham and Luke Dugdale in the comms box as we go live on YouTube. Again, look for FDSR. Give them a follow. If you're new to our YouTube channel, give us a subscribe as well. FDSR tomorrow, GT3 on Assetto Corsa Competition, and we will be racing some sprint races tomorrow. Come and join us. There's some fantastic races in that league, and we look forward to calling the action for you tomorrow. So please do come along. But for now, we will concentrate on touring car sim racing league. And race 2 of round 2 at Watkins Glen. So this is our third season for anybody who's new to us. We are in season 3, and we've always had really close knit battles all the way through the championship. Everyone has gone down to the last race, not the last round, the last race of the 24 races that we hold. Every championship has gone down to the last race. I battled for one myself in season 1 against the esteemed Simon Ashbourne, and season 2 I was close to nowhere and absolutely not in the fight, but still in the driver's seat. This season I am retired to the comms box, as I said earlier, but happy to be here and calling the action for you wonderful people, so thank you for tuning in. And this is our new home, as I say, on YouTube, and this is where all of our future races will be streamed from. So we are just a few seconds away now from our race 2. As I said, the grid for this is set by the finishing positions from race 1. So here we go. Are we going to have another fantastic repeat of that 15 minutes straight of 3 cars nose to tail battling each other right the way through? And time will tell. We will find out in just a few seconds. We are waiting for that green light, and there it is. His foot flat to the floor, and away they go. Russ Butcher with a lightning start, but also Shizuoka with a good start. He's got the outside. Butcher will need to be later on the brakes down into the first corner to try and do what he did in the first race and take the lead, but Shizuoka hangs it around the outside. Great line from him on the power, and he keeps the lead and keeps going forward. Stu Neal keeps third. Poddy Flack still in fourth. Kane Alexander Poddy Flack taken up into third now, and Stu Neal back up into third. They're battling back and forth. We saw these two have great door-to-door battles at Interlagos, and they're at it again here today. Kane Alexander still there. Tamenga and Ishuza both battling away with each other, and down in 6th and 7th at the moment. Dugdale in 8th, Markham in 9th. We heard from him in between the races there, saying the Honda just really struggling with the weight on board, and it's not the right track for the Honda. Ashbourne in 10th and Large in 11th at the moment. But Stu Neal having a real good look at Butcher once again. This is deja vu for Stu Neal, but this time he's also got Poddy Flack right on his bumper, and Kane Alexander right with him as well. Shizuoka with a decent lead now as these guys battle behind him. He's managed to stretch out best part of a second on that first lap. As we start lap 2, Shizuoka goes through the first corner in the lead, with Butcher battling with Neal, Poddy Flack, Kane Alexander, Juza and Tamenga, Dugdale, Markham, Ashbourne and Large all still battling. All drivers within a second of each other, some much less than that. For example, Markham was battling away with Dugdale, looks to make a move up the inside as he goes up through the twisty bit. Can he hang it around the outside? Dugdale with a shorter line there with the inside line, but there you can see is Ashbourne around the outside. Dugdale stuck in a bit of a sandwich at the moment. They've got to be careful going into the breakers over this. Oh, Dugdale just makes contact with Ashbourne and knocks him off the circuit. And Ashbourne having an absolute disaster today. It's just not his race. And Aaron Large getting interested in Aaron Markham now. And Dugdale just made contact with the Hyundai Elantra there. And that was unfortunate, but back to the action at the front then. Shizuoka still just out in front by just under a second. Butcher just trying to do a carbon copy of what he did in race 1, but this time he's got a car in front of him. He needs to try and catch up to the back two, or is he just going to hold station, just try and hold on to this third? Stu Neal will not be happy. Butcher won't be happy though. He lost that race win. by a matter of 0.014 seconds to Shizuoka. Absolutely crazy that he lost it on the line by a hundredth of a second. So he is going to be hungry to chase down Shizuoka and take victory, but Shizuoka looks like he's in the zone today. He's on it in qualifying, on it in that first race despite a bad opening couple of laps, and he looks like he's in the groove now. But Butcher not being dropped, he's definitely got the pace to stick with him, and Stu Neal putting loads of pressure on Butcher. Oh, looked like there might have been a little tap there, hard to tell, or whether just Butcher got a little bit out of shape, but Neal trying to just poke his nose up the inside, and Poddy Flack is right there with him. He's found his groove now in this race, Poddy Flack, with loads and loads of pace, and Kane Alexander also. These Lincoln Co's looking really strong at this track, but George stretching his lead now. It's over a second ahead of Butcher as Butcher battles away with these cars behind him, and he's doing a superb job. Shizuoka out in front, looking to make it 2 for 2 after a bit of a disastrous opening round at Interlagos. He's looking to make up for lost time this time around, which it looks like he is going to do. He could be 2 for 2 at the end of this race, but it's still early doors. We are only on lap 4. Butcher back within a second now, though. He's caught up a little bit of time through those first couple of corners. Stu Neal and Poddy Flack and Kane Alexander, all these cars all separated by just 2.5 seconds, covering the top 5 cars. It's really super close out in front, and then a bit of a gap then back to George, User, Temenga, Dugdale and Large, and then you've got Markham and Ashbourne at the back. So we are currently watching Poddy Flack as he chases down Stu Neal for that last podium position, but Stu Neal looks like he is on it this week. Super competitive and super fast, and this is where he needs to be close and have a bit of a speed advantage. This is when he needs to be able to floor it now and slingshot out of the last corner down towards the final corner and beat Butcher into the braking zone. Can he do it? Has he got enough in him? It doesn't look like Gavin. Butcher, you've got to say, is mighty strong through those last couple of corners, which always gives him a lot of speed down that start-finish straight. So Butcher has got it covered, apart from that last lap of the last race where he got beat on the line, where it looks like from the chat I'm reading that he was running out of fuel and the car started coughing towards the line. So it may have been a fuel issue that led to that, but that is what happens. That is racing. Oh, there's Stu Neal just dipping up the inside. Has he got a wheel alongside? Can he be later in the braking zone? No, he can't. Butcher once again has him covered, and Neal trying. If at first you don't succeed, pick yourself up and try again, as Elia once said. But Stu Neal trying the same thing over and over again and expecting different results apparently is the definition of insanity. So I guess all he can do is do what he is doing. Jokes aside, that was a joke obviously, is keep doing what he is doing, and putting pressure and hoping to force a mistake more than anything else. He's not going to get past on pure pace because Butcher's got him covered, but if he can force a mistake, that is where he will get past. So all he can do is keep filling his the mirrors of Butcher and doing as good a job as he can. These two just dropping Poddy Flack a little bit now. Poddy Flack the best part of a second behind. But oh, Shizuoka's gone off. Oh, I just missed it on camera. Not sure why, what happened there, but he went wide in the first corner. He's gone off, and Shizuoka now down to third. Oh, horrific mistake there into the first corner has led to him going majorly wide. He lost loads of momentum then up through Faux Rouge. And Butcher retakes the lead, and Stu Neal up into second, and Shizuoka now down to third. Oh, absolute disaster for him. What a point of the race to make a mistake as well. 5 laps in and totally dominant, and all of a sudden you're down in third position from first. Absolutely heartbreaking for him. But once again then, it's deja vu. It's Butcher and Neal battling for the lead once again. So let's hope he's got his fuel right this time, and we can see a proper battle right the way to the end. So Shizuoka again has rejoined his party, as has Poddy Flack, super close. There is less than a second covering those top 4 drivers. Kane Alexander has been dropped. I think he's made a mistake. Oh, there's contact! Shizuoka tried to look up the inside of Stu Neal, and there is contact. Shizuoka drops back, but Poddy Flack now gets the advantage, where Shizuoka, I think, accepted the blame for that, backed out of it, let Neal take the position, but has also cost himself another position. Now he's down to 4th, and Shizuoka's gone from leading this race dominantly for the first 5 laps to having an absolute disaster over the last 2. It's just not gone his way. So Butcher now from Neal, from Flack in the final podium position. Poddy Flack, they're just on the pace and able to take advantage of any mistakes, and he done it a treat there, and he's looking like he could even battle for second. But he's in with a chance. That's all he's got to do, is keep his nose clean like he has been doing. But Shizuoka, I feel for him. Absolutely disastrous couple of moments there for him. So George User doing a very good job of battling away with Kane Alexander. He's got 92 kilograms of ballast on board, has George, but he's still battling away with Kane for that 5th position. Every point counts, but he will carry, I would suspect, a fair amount less of ballast next week, as the positions in the championship should change quite considerably. But Butcher still leading from Neal, who leads from Flack, and that completes your top 3, and then Shizuoka in 4th still. As it stands, they're just a little bit more strung out than they have been, but it doesn't take much for them to catch back up. We are coming up to a third of the way through this race. 4 laps to go after this one, so still plenty of time for these drivers to make the result change for them. But Butcher still leading from Stu Neal. Stu Neal got enough pace to get up onto the back of that Audi. That has looked very, very quick today. You've got to say Butcher was on it in qualifying. Didn't qualify in pole, but he was there or thereabouts. And in the races, he has been one of the quickest out there. The fastest lap we've seen so far in this race, so it belongs to Shizuoka with a 15.2, and Butcher not far behind that though, just to put that into context, with a 15.3. So very, very fast indeed from these guys. I mean, these are pretty much, as I said in the first race, they're just doing 12 qualifying laps, just slowing only for tyre wear really, which is phenomenal. Absolutely epic pace from these guys. So Stu Neal has closed that gap a little bit. It's down to half a second now, but as you can see, they are a little bit more strung out than what they were in the opening phase. Aaron Large taking a good look at Temenga, but Temenga defending the inside line, and he's got 100 kilograms on board, so he's just be praying for this round to be over so we can drop some of that ballast ready for the next round. So the large amount of ballast do hurt the drivers, but that's exactly what it's designed to do, as we've said many times, to even the field and give other drivers a chance, much like Shizuoka and Butcher have had tonight. Shizuoka taking the victory in race 1, Butcher beaten on the line due to running out of fuel and losing it by 0.14 of a second. But it looks like if he's got his fuel right this time, this is his to lose now. He's being pressured once again by Stu Neal. Stu Neal has closed the gap again. It's gone down from 0.7 to 0.3 of a second, so it is getting smaller. So it is getting closer and closer between these two. Sorry, just realised the difference wasn't up on the screen. It had deactivated for some reason, but it is back. So Butcher still under loads of pressure, but as you can see, Stu Neal is quicker than them generally, but his fastest lap is also quicker now. His last lap was his fastest lap, and it is a 15.371, so he is now faster than Butcher. Absolutely caning it. I've just noticed Shizuoka has got past Poddy Flack as well, so he's made a move. Sorry, we've missed that. But Shizuoka is now up into 3rd position again. But he'll be kicking himself 5 laps led, it was his to lose. And a couple of disastrous laps after that led to him being down in 4th. But he is back up onto the podium at the moment. Poddy Flack just taking a look, seeing if he's got a way up the inside, but he hasn't at the moment. But it's a rinse-repeat situation for Butcher and Neil out in front. Butcher leading, Stu Neil in second. Will we see any change of position? That is the big question. I don't know if he's got enough in the tank. You can see the gap coming down with the slipstream, but he's got to be super late on the brakes to beat Butcher into there, but he just can't quite do it. But you've got to give credit for how closely he's able to follow without making contact with the guy in front. Superb precision driving from these top guys. And Shizuoka isn't out of this yet. We've still got another lap to go. He's just under a second behind these guys now. He does have the potential to catch up to the back of them and potentially have a go at it. Oh, you can see Stu Neil there just taking a look. He's pretty close again. Just backs out of it. Can he get a better exit out of this last corner? This is where Butcher has had all the other guys covered. He's so strong through those last 3 corners that he just has it covered enough to pull out a gap where he's not under pressure coming into this first corner. And once again, he's done exactly that. We are on the last lap now. 50 seconds of the race remaining. Once again, Butcher leading. This time, though, it's from Neil. Shizuoka a little bit further back after that mistake on lap 5. Or lap 6, sorry. So it is a question of, can Butcher hold it this time? He had it covered in race 1, but he just ran out of fuel on the line. Is he going to be borderline on fuel again, or is he okay this time? You'd hope he will have learned from that error. Stu Neil so close. He's absolutely right up alongside him, but he just cannot find a way past. Butcher's just got a couple of corners to negotiate, and he should then take his first victory of the season through the left-hander. They've just got the quick right-hander to go. He's been beaten on the line. Shizuoka looking to beat somebody on the line again. He's looking super fast. Can he get up alongside Stu Neil and take a position on the line? Don't think he's got enough pace. There he goes, Butcher across the line for a win. He redeems himself from race 1. Stu Neil takes second, and Shizuoka completes the podium. The same podium, just in a slightly different order this time around. Poddy Flack comes home in 4th. Kane Alexander in 5th. Great drive from him again. George with a great drive in 6th, and Tomenga, both of them with huge amounts of ballast in 6th and 7th. Aaron Large is in 8th. Doug Dale in 9th. Aaron Markham in 10th. And Simon Ashbourne in 11th position. Well, another superb race there. That was brilliant entertainment once again, and yeah, great stuff. I got to think of a driver of that race. Just looking at lap Shizuoka once again with fastest lap. He's on it today. Driver of that race, I'm going to give to Poddy Flack. I think he was able to stick with those top guys and really battle away. So I'm going to give driver of race 2 to Poddy Flack. I think he did a superb job there. So once again, I just need to turn off the server and just import the finishing positions and then reverse the grid. So just turning the server back on. There we go. It is back. So no drivers in the comms box at the moment, so I'm just going to get myself back into the server once I can find it. It's not coming up for some reason. It's because it was empty, that's why. There we go. Race 3 to come. So just reading some of the driver comments there, they're all just saying it was some great races, and yeah, some guys saying they've had some great battles. Shizuka saying he just looked in the mirror for a second and he missed his braking point, and that was why he made that mistake and ended up going around the wide way, should we say, of turn 1, and ended up losing the lead, which was a shame. So just waiting for some of the drivers to come into the lobby. There they go. They started to come in now. So yeah, we'll have a reverse grid this time. So you'll see Aaron Large on pole for this race, and the winner of race 1, who was Shizuka, will start at the back. So like I say, he's going to have work to do. He's got to battle against all of these drivers with ballast and some other quick drivers as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how these light guys who finished high up in race 1 fare starting at the back. So Aaron, cheers for coming back into the comms box and having a chat with me and not leaving me all on my Todd.
No problem, bud, no problem. Just wanted to make sure I got in the lobby after my my game crashed.
Oh, you had a crash too, unlike me.
It seems to be, I don't know what's up, mate. It just, every time you press and hold escape to leave the lobby, it seems to kill race room for some reason.
Okay. We have an update recently, so it's probably some glitches and gremlins. But yeah, so how did you find race 2? It looked like you were having some good battles with Simon, and I caught a good battle with you and Dougie going up what I call Faux Rouge. So how was it from your point of view?
It was fun for about 2-3 laps when I was in the mix, but as soon as I lost the slipstream, that was it. Everyone else just left me, and I think that's what kept me in the hunt in race 1, just being able to stay in the slipstream. So yeah, not ideal, but I mean, Simon was catching me and catching me hand over fist in the latter stages there. I mean, if it probably lasted another lap, he'd have had me, no doubt. So it was a tough pill to swallow, but P10's probably about right this evening, so I'm happy with it.
I suppose a small grid's probably to your advantage tonight, because you can still pick up some decent points, but still lose a fair amount of ballast, if that's fair to say.
Yeah, exactly. And with a small grid, if 2 guys up the road make a mistake, the difference in points is quite big. If it was a big grid, you could be talking pointless to a point, whereas tonight I could be gaining 3-4 points if someone makes a mistake. So yeah, damage limitation, that's, as I said before, that's all I'm aiming for tonight.
We haven't spoken much about the season as a whole, and your aims. There is only race 2, of course, but have you got a specific target in mind for the season?
Yes. I mean, I feel like top 5 is ambitious, but there's no reason why I can't achieve it. I mean, the Honda feels a lot better than the Hyundai, and for people who don't know, that's what I was racing in last season. It just feels a lot more nimble in the corners, even with the ballast. It struggles a little bit on the straights, but it seems to carry the ballast pretty well. It doesn't feel too different to the car without ballast. So
no, and
Top 5, top 6 is where I'm aiming for.
Just taking a look at the tracks that are coming up. You got Brands. That'll be an advantage for the Honda. All right, maybe not Monza, but then Suzuka. That'll be an advantage for the Honda. Silverstone.
Yeah.
So you have got tracks coming your way, which should suit the car.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the main reason behind picking the Honda, really. I wanted something that gives me confidence when I drive it, which the Hyundai did, but it had even less power than the Honda. So I just wanted something with a little bit more grunt and something that I feel comfortable driving. So yeah, let's see what happens for the rest of the season. I think I need a little bit of luck, but I feel confident and I'm content with how I'm driving. So hopefully, some good results come my way.
Yeah, well, I'd love nothing more than to be out there with you, my friend. But alas, it is not meant to be. But we will have our time as teammates at some point in the future, I'm sure.
We will, of course.
Yes. All right. Well, good luck for race 3. You should have plenty of good battles in this one. I mean, you've got plenty of quick guys behind you, so don't give them too much of an easy time, my friend, and enjoy. And I'll speak to you in about 16 minutes' time.
Yes, you will. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for having me.
A pleasure, as always, to speak to Aaron. And like I say, it's great to speak to our drivers, get their input, and hopefully we'll get more drivers joining us as the season goes on and they become a little less shy. But Simon is saying he's not joining us tonight because he's too depressed. So I understand when you're struggling with the car, it can affect you. But there we go. Okay, so we are just 15 seconds left of this practice session. Sorry, itchy head. And we will be on our reverse grid race. So this, for anybody who's joined us for the first time, first of all, of course, welcome. Welcome to our new home on YouTube. This race is reverse grid. So the fast people are at the back. The people with ballast are in the middle. It's just bonkers. The people who finished at the back are at the front. It is a complete reverse grid, not like a real BTCC where they sort of do a half reverse grid or draw it out of a hat. It's just completely reversed. So it gives us some super exciting gung-ho racing, and that's exactly what it's designed to do. So I'm really looking forward to this one. Practice is just coming to an end any moment now. We have 11 drivers in. There we go. So they are just readying up. They are what the game refers to as in the garage. And yeah, so they're just readying up, just making sure they got enough fuel in. We run, just to confirm, for anybody who isn't new, we run fixed setups in this league so that you cannot set the car up, so there is no advantage to those that have more racing and mechanical knowledge than others. It is all just down to driving style, picking a car that suits your driving style and going for it. We do not run a ballast system. We do not run a setup system. We do not allow setups. So here we go. The race is ready to go. We are just waiting for that green light. It's Large from Ashbourne out in front now. And there we go. It's foot flat to the floor. And away we go down towards the first corner. Aaron Large currently leading from Simon Ashbourne. And Aaron Markham there in third with Dugdale looking to get up the inside. And Markham should have a good line around the outside. So Large still out in front from Ashbourne. From Markham, who's under pressure from Dugdale, he's under pressure from User and Tamenga at the moment. You've got the fast moving Poddy Flack and Stu Neal back there looking to make early moves in this race and get out in front and get themselves a chance of a victory. Russ Butcher, who's been insanely quick in the opening parts of these opening two races, is also looking to make a move. Kane Alexander and Shizuoka also pretty quick there, and somebody's had a bit of an incident, I think, and gone back a few positions. I'm trying to see, I think that might be Aaron Markham. Yeah, he's just had a little bit of an off, and he's heading down the order, and unfortunately he's lost quite a few positions there, and he's pretty much going to be dead last now. That is a shame. Oh, a little bit of contact there between Poddy Flack and Stu Neal, and they get away with it, but Russ Butcher gets himself up into fifth. What an opening lap from these guys, proper super fast moving, but he's got User and Tamenga ahead of him now, but it's still Aaron Large leading from Simon Ashbourne. User in third position, Tamenga in fourth, but Butcher gets himself up past Tamenga. Oh, they both run super wide though, so they might get a slowdown penalty for that. They both run very, very wide there. They'll be hoping that they didn't gain too much of an advantage. but time will tell. Tomenga's still on the back of him there, so Ashbourne still challenging. George User can't quite catch these guys at the moment. He's carrying 92 kilograms of ballast. Tomenga with 100 kilograms of ballast. But it's a little bit squirrely there from Stu Neal, and you can see Doug Dale also going over the curbs in the background ahead of Polyflack. Kane Alexander, he's hit the wall. He's got it a bit wrong through the chicane, and he's hit the wall. Aaron Markham still holding on to the back of Doug Dale there at the back of the train. Still 10 cars in it. Aaron Large leading from Simon Ashbourne. Simon Ashbourne not able to catch him at the moment. George User under a bit of pressure now from Russ Butcher. Russ Butcher of the fast guys is the quickest one moving. He's managed to make his way through the field pretty quickly and looking to pressure George now as they go down into the first corner. He has a look at the inside. He gets a car at the inside, but that move was never on. And he makes contact with George. Pulls off the circuit, gives the positions back, and that has ruined Butcher and putting him all the way down in last position. He does the right thing and backs out of it, but George also lost position from that. So Shizuoka, Luke Dugdale has got a drive-through penalty for ignoring slowed down warnings. That is Dugdale's race done and over with. He's currently running in 7th, but not for much longer. So he has got a drive-through penalty. So Aaron Large leading from Ashbourne, who now leads from Stu Neal, Shizuoka and Polyflack. They're all battling for that final podium position as it stands, but there are still 8 laps left after this one, and plenty of time for these guys to change those positions yet. But Aaron Large doing a fantastic job out in front at the moment and stretching his lead, and the bigger he can stretch the lead now while those guys behind are battling him, the more chance he's got of hanging on to it. There's still 11 minutes to go, just under 11 minutes. There's plenty of time there for Stu Neal, Polyflack and Shizuoka all side by side. Heading into Shizuoka backs out of it. He's going to be under pressure now from Tomenga coming up through the twisty section, but it's side by side for Stu Neal and Polyflack. These guys have banged doors in pretty much every race so far we've had this season, and Polyflack gets himself up into 3rd and the final podium position. Can he now chase after Simon Ashbourne and Aaron Large ahead? Poddy is a good bet for a win here if he can keep this kind of pace up. We will see, but Aaron Large doing 16 flats out in front and 59. So very good lap times for Aaron Large. Suddenly he seems to have found a bit of speed when he's out in free air, where he was struggling when he was in close combat with other drivers. But he's 2.5 seconds now ahead of Simon Ashbourne. Simon Ashbourne just hoping these guys behind will battle and Simon can hold on to that podium position. And Polyflack now still in 3rd then, trying to drop Stu Neal and get himself out ahead. He's just been there or thereabouts Poddy tonight, but not quite on the pace of the podium guys, but he is getting there. Slowly but surely. And you can see Shizuoka there taking another look up the inside and trying to battle, and that will do Poddy a favour if Stu Neal is battling away with Shizuoka. This is the closest battle we've got at the moment, and Anton Tomenga doing a fantastic job with 100 kilograms on board to stay within a second of these guys ahead. Absolutely outstanding job from him. So Stu Neal then putting pressure on Polyflack, but Shizuoka, he looks like he's just poked his way up the inside, and he has. Shizuoka pokes his way past Stu Neal, gets up the inside. Polyflack just looked like he cut the corner there. That will be borderline track limits. But what a move from Shizuoka, gets himself back up to 4th. And Butcher making moves again as well after giving all the positions back that he gained from that accident. Dropped himself to last, and so he had no lasting advantage from that as to not get a penalty. So great sportsmanship, but Due to his pace, we are still less than halfway through this race, and he is already back up into 7th and within a second of this battle that we've been watching, so it's still plenty of opportunity. And Shizuoka taking a look at Podiflak now. Podiflak, one of the best defenders in touring car racing, really knows where to position the car well as to not be overtaken. So it's going to take something special for Shizuoka to get past, but if anybody can do it, he can. And he is swimming all over the back of that car, trying to make his presence known. And Stu Neal there as well now, coming alongside, and Shizuoka's battling away. Stu Neal said, "You know what you did to me on the last lap, mate? I'm about to go and do it to you." And he gets himself poked right through and back up into 4th position. Brilliant driving from these 3 guys, absolutely outstanding. Russ Butcher has got himself up past Tamenga and up into 6th position, and fantastic overtake there from Butcher, and he brings himself right back into play for a podium position after being dead last just 3 laps ago, after giving positions back after making contact with Georges into the first corner. So great sportsmanship and great driving all in one there from Butcher. Fantastic stuff. But Podiflak now is less than a second behind Ashbourne. Ashbourne clearly struggling. He's 4 seconds behind Aaron Large. Aaron Large out in front on his own. Ashbourne just hoping these guys keep battling, which will give him a bit of breathing space. But Ashbourne still in second as it stands. But for how much longer with this 5-car group all coming alongside Butcher? You can see getting closer and closer to these guys. But Shizuoka alongside Stu Neal now, absolutely twisting stuff. Has he got himself alongside again? I think he has, and he's got a bit of a slipstream of Podiflak ahead. Stu Neal, Podiflak and Shizuoka have given us some fantastic entertainment tonight, and they are absolutely going for it. Oh, and they just fall back in the line again. And this is breathless stuff, absolutely outstanding. But Podiflak still within a second, but he's not able to catch Ashbourne because he's too busy defending from the guys behind. So Ashbourne still holding on to that 2nd position. Just a word for Aaron Large, who's doing a superb job out in front. He's out on his own at the moment by nearly 5 seconds. So here come that group of cars behind him. Luke Damage is has had a game crash. He is in the middle of nowhere, as you can see. So we're down to 9 drivers now. Ashbourne, oh, it's going to be a move up the inside. Stu Neal gets up past Podiflak, up the inside and up into 3rd position, but Podiflak gets the position back. Oh, they just back and forth, back and forth. Butcher now has caught right up to the back of Shizuoka. Look at this group of cars, and Simon Ashbourne is about to be under more pressure, I think, than he's ever been in his life. He's absolutely having loads of trouble. With this new car, it's not suiting him, and he's regretting picking it. Oh, and a bit of a mistake there from Flack. He got up on 2 wheels, and there was a bit of contact there, but that wasn't his fault. I mean, he was completely not in control of the car and somehow manages to hold on to 3rd. But this battle, Shizuoka's managed to get up past Neal there, so Neal lost momentum there, trying to avoid contact with Flack, and then Flack gets himself a bit of breathing space as Shizuoka gets through, and then Russ Butcher now on the back of this. All of these guys battling for that for the last 2 podium positions, while Aaron Large out in front just runs away with it as it stands. He's nearly 6 seconds out in front. We've still got 4.5 minutes of this race to go, and Kane Alexander saying that his GPU crashed on the line heading into the chicane, so that is why he has retired. That is an absolute nightmare, Kane. Sorry to hear that, mate. His username is Championship White FN2 because he's got the same car as me. Just I'm black and he's white, yin and yang. He's got excellent, superb, wonderful taste in cars, as Arcane. But anyway, back to this battle now. So Podiflak is up to 2nd. Simon Ashbourne has conceded the position. Oh, a little bit of contact there. With Stu Neal, he's so keen to get through. Oh, they've had points. Stu Neal has been disqualified. Stu Neal has been disqualified for contact. It looks like he's got his contact points up above the magic number 30. and has been disqualified from the session. So he is officially last in the standings for today. So Polyflack is up to second now, with Shizuoka third, Simon Ashbourne in fourth, and Russ Butcher in fifth. Russ trying to make the move now on Simon. Simon not making it too difficult for him. He knows he just needs to try and keep ahead now of Tamenga and remain in fifth position. Butcher with a great move. And Shizuoka and Polyflack going at it. This is for second position. Meanwhile, Aaron Lage out in front by 7 seconds now. His to lose. Still a couple of laps to go after this one. It's been all action, this race. Absolutely insane. Apart from Aaron Lage, who's had the most boring race of his life out in front. But I'm sure he won't mind that for the sake of a victory. It's going to take something special for him not to win this race now. Polyflack nearly 7 seconds behind him. He's just fighting off Shizuoka. Butcher. This contact! And Shizuoka tried to look around the outside and made contact with Flack. It's difficult to say what happened there. Flack went to turn in and didn't know Shizuoka was there. And Butcher now finds himself up into third. And it looks like Butcher is going to battle Polyflack now for that second position, but Shizuoka's still there. Yeah, there's been a little bit of argy-bargy in this race, and we have seen the first disqualification, 4 points for Stu Neal due to contact maybe with other drivers. That is the system that we run. So Butcher gets himself up into second. Polyflack with a huge mistake coming out of the first corner, and Polyflack now down into fourth. Oh, huge mistake there. Russ Butcher up to second, Shizuoka up to third, and Polyflack down to fourth. But they will continue to battle for this final podium position. We have 1 lap left after this lap, and we are now Aaron Lage still out in front, but Butcher is lapping very, very quickly. Even in traffic, he's doing 15.5s. He's done very, very well to carve his way through the field, make that contact with George, drop to the back of the field as to avoid a penalty, and then re-fight his way through the field to find himself back up in second position. Absolutely outstanding, and no doubt he would have been looking at the lead if he hadn't had to drop back into the field. But that said, he did the right thing, and he's still driven absolutely superbly, as has Shizuoka. But Aaron Lage still out in front. He has started the last lap now. There's only 30 seconds left on the timer. This will be the last lap. Russ Butcher still defending from Shizuoka. Shizuoka, he just manages to get a nose up the inside. He likes that move. This is what I've been talking about, being able to do that. And Shizuoka has managed to do that quite a few times now. But Butcher later on the brakes keeps the position down into the chicane. And then Shizuoka has to back out of it. And Butcher looks to have enough legs now just to get to the end of this race in second position. So Aaron Lage just coming through the last 2 corners, and you can see the rest of those cars in the background. And Aaron Lage making his debut with us this season, only his second round and his first reverse grid race victory. Aaron Lage takes victory here at Watkins Glen. Absolutely outstanding. Butcher is going to come home in second position. So that's the first and 2 seconds for Butcher. Shizuoka in third. Polyflack with fourth again. Simon Ashbourne with fifth. He did really well to hang on there. Tamenga in sixth. George User in seventh. Aaron Markham in eighth. Luke Dugdale will take eighth officially, although his game crashed. Kane Alexander's game also crashed. He will take 10th, and Stu Neal with a disqualification for points accumulated due to contact. Well, that is that. Absolutely outstanding. And that is the end of proceedings. Well, I'm a little bit out of breath after that. I don't know about you, but I found that immensely entertaining. And that was just pure action again, as we have seen week in, week out with Touring Car Sim Racing League. But a huge congratulations to Aaron Large taking his first victory since he joined us. But yeah, commiserations to Kane Alexander and Luke Dugdale. Both had huge game crashes during that race, which is a huge shame. So yeah, that is the end of it. And wow, what can I say? Just turning off the server and updating the race results. There we go. All sorted. So I'm just waiting to see if anybody comes into the channel to speak to me before we close down the stream. We haven't got any drivers with us at the moment. So yeah, driver of race 3. That's what I'm forgetting. Driver of race 3. That is a tough one. I'm going to give driver of race 3 to... it's tough. I'm trying to decide. It's tough because that was really, really, really good. I'm going to give it to Shizuoka because I thought he did really, really well. Battled loads. And I thought he drove particularly well. So he gets my driver of race 3. So that was Butcher for race 1, Poddy Flack race 2, and Shizuoka for race 3. So we are joined once again by Aaron Markham in the comms box. Everybody else has been really shy tonight and won't not coming in. So there we go. Unfortunately, they are shy for some reason, aren't they? But anyway, let's wrap this up. Didn't quite go how you planned. I assume there was a bit of an off in the first lap, which pretty much lost you about 5 positions, and then that was that pretty much, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was murder she wrote. Unfortunately, I don't know who it was. I think it might have been George, but it wasn't malicious or anything. So I'm not annoyed. It was just I think we were side by side, and it must be the way the curbs bounced the car because we weren't alongside each other in a way that would spin us off. But for some reason, the car felt awful, so it kind of just spun itself onto the grass, and that was it really. I couldn't keep up with anyone, and again, it was just, well, let's bring this home and see what happens. There was a couple of DNFs, a couple of DQs, so it wasn't totally last, but hey ho, on to the next one. Watkins Glen's a track I love, and I enjoyed driving the car tonight, even if I wasn't on the pace, which is all that matters for me, really. So yeah, onwards and upwards.
Yeah, totally. I mean, we'll see where you stand, but like I said, we got Brands next. I think I said, wasn't it? Yeah, if I remember right.
Yes.
So that's a track that we'll look forward to, and hopefully it'll suit the car a bit better, and you'll be carrying a little bit less weight, as will our next guest, Mr. Simon Ashbourne. Cheers for coming in, Simon.
You're welcome. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, mate. And you're not enjoying the car, from what I've read in the chat. Is that right?
I can't believe how slow it is, honestly. It feels horrible. After my 2 seasons in that Audi, which was a lovely car, this I don't know what's wrong with it. I put my foot down out of turn 1, and everyone was just leaving me.
Yeah.
And it's fast at the end of the straight. But in the middle of the straight, he's got nothing.
Yeah,
He just goes back, especially up the hill through 2 and 3.
yeah.
I was just nowhere, absolutely nowhere.
I remember the
At
car
least
being released
three
and
times.
everyone was going nuts for it, weren't they? The Elantra saying, "Oh my God, this car's a
Yeah.
dream." So it's just surprising to me that it's so
Oh,
far.
you play online and the balance and performance, got one of the heaviest weights, but honestly, I just can't get any pace out of it.
It's
It's
funny you
really
should mention
disappointing.
that turn 2 and turn 3 was a trouble for you, Simon, because I was exactly the same. I just had no acceleration up the hill.
No. And in the first race, I was stuck about 3 or 4 seconds behind you, and I
Yeah,
just could not catch you at all. Couldn't make any inroads. And I think the first and the second race was very similar.
I think the only reason why I managed to stay in front for the first race was because I had the slipstream. If I didn't, you'd have definitely caught me because you were catching me like hand over fist at the end.
Yeah, I caught you quicker in the race too, I think, but it was only about half a second a lap, 3 or 4 tenths maybe. So it
Yeah.
was because I had a similar accident at the chicane in both the first two races where I was on the inside of somebody, and rather than have an accident, I turned and ended up wide out on the right hand side of the chicane to avoid crashing into people. Um, that, both my races were quite lonely, really.
Me and you both,
And then
mate. Me and you
it
both.
was only the reverse grid race 3 that I really got into anything, and then it was just all defending once I'd lost Mr. Large at the front.
Yeah,
So it was a bit.
he did very well. Another little shout out to Aaron. Great victory on his debut season with us. It's always good to see new people having the opportunity to win. But we've had, a couple of different winners as well. I think was it 5 different winners out of 6 races, is it, or something like that. So I mean that does bode well for the league. Brands
Yeah,
Hatch up next week,
but
gentlemen. So is that a challenge you're looking forward to?
not in this car.
I'm looking forward to it. I think the Honda will do all right there. It was actually, fun fact, Brands Hatch was the first track that I ever drove on this game and this car combo, so I should be all right.
Yeah.
Brands Indy's always good fun because it's such a short track.
Yeah, I
Is
think
it the indie
Do a lot
layout?
of
Is it
action.
just so I know for
it
my?
is.
Okay.
I thought
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what I read in Discord.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no,
it is
that's
indie.
fine. I'm just making sure I know for myself. That's all. But yeah, no, I mean that's great because it'll be super close. I hate driving Indy. I can't stand driving it. It's my least favorite track in the world. The GP track I adore. I cannot stand Indy. It drives me nuts. Mostly because I'm crap around there, but. From a spectator's point of view, it's brilliant racing around there, as you say, super close. So we should
Mm.
have a nice close field. Obviously, the ballast allocation will change. You guys will probably be considerably lighter for next season. So, um,
I'm going to propose the whole field switch into the NSU TTS for the next race because I love that car. I love that car.
it'll be good fun. Perhaps we should have a
Every,
little Sunday championship in the NSU TT or something.
everybody swapped to the shopping cart trolley.
Or that.
I've never driven that.
Oh, I drove it around the
Sorry,
Nordschleife. It's absolutely bonkers.
yeah. I've heard it's not. It's a bit mad.
Yep.
You'll have no wrists.
Yeah, there is that. Right, well, thank you both for joining me. Yeah, commiserations on not a perfect a week for the two of you, but as I say, a track you'll enjoy and nice light cars next week will hopefully lead to some better results for you. So thank you for joining us.
Not perfect. Not perfect. You are the king of understatement.
Well, I've got to have some skills somewhere. But yeah, we'll hopefully catch you both next week. Look forward to seeing you battering them around Brands. Thank you to everybody who's tuned in, and hopefully some of our drivers will make it back in next week as well. Like I say, we should have a grid of 15, 16 normally week in, week out, but we've been a bit light on the ground in these opening few, but we'll get them back and we'll get going. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Welcome to our new home here on YouTube. Once again, don't forget that tomorrow you can catch the Final Drive Sim Racing League GT3 on Assetto Corsa competition from 7:30 on YouTube. Just search for Final Drive Sim Racing, you will find us, and myself, Aaron, and Dougie will be in the comms box from 7:30 to call all of the action for the sprint race week. And we will see you.
Too late, Russ.
We will see you then. Thank you very much, and good night.